GK Kids.
The shopping of the cats. The cats living in the houses used to get beaten a lot. Sometimes for drinking milk. Whenever a cat felt hungry, she would quietly drink the milk. When the owner or mistress found out, they would beat the cat harshly. Similarly, when the cats went out to roam, people made faces upon seeing them, saying, "Oh no, a cat crossed our path, what will happen now?" One day, all the cats gathered and decided that they would create a city far away from humans, where no humans would be allowed. With this thought, the cats built their own city. Having lived among humans for so many years, they had learned a lot. So, they included all the conveniences humans had in this city. All the cats began living comfortably, just like humans. They declared one cat as their queen, and along with some other cats, created laws for the city, which everyone had to follow. In one of the flats in this city, two sisters named Chinky and Minky lived with their Aunt Shalu. Chinky and Minky's mother had passed away, and Aunt Shalu had raised them both. The two sisters were very mischievous. One morning, Aunt Shalu called out to them, "Aunt Shalu, will you two keep sleeping? It's the first of the month today. Are we going shopping or not? The house is out of groceries." "Chinky, Auntie, let us sleep. It's so hard to get a day off from school." Seeing Aunt Shalu getting angry, Minky quickly got up and said to Chinky, "Minky, get up quickly, or Auntie will come in here herself. Come on, let's go shopping. I saw a dress last month that I want to buy today." "Chinky, but Auntie won't let us. She's so stingy. After buying groceries, she'll just say there's no money left." "Minky, just come with me. I've saved up some money. We'll get a bit from Auntie by making some excuse." Chinky and Minky go to a big mall with Aunt Shalu. There are clothing stores on the other side of the mall. They leave Aunt Shalu and head over there, trying on the dresses they like. "Minky, Chinky, look, I like this dress." Both of them pick out one dress each. Minky pays some money, and Chinky goes to Aunt Shalu and says, "Chinky, Auntie, they have really cheap dresses over there. Can you give me some money? You get to free with one." "Aunt Shalu, are you telling the truth? Alright, here's the money. Buy some good dresses for both of you." Chinky and Minky buy the dresses and come outside, only to find Aunt Shalu standing there with a crowd gathered around her. They hurriedly approach her. "Aunt Shalu, look at these two, wearing such nice dresses. Girls, tell them where you found the deal where you get to free with one dress. I've called everyone to let them know." Chinky and Minky were in trouble now. Their small lie had turned into a big mess. To cover it up, they told another lie, "Minky, oh Auntie, they're all gone now. People took them all." But Aunt Shalu didn't believe them and took them to the store. The shopkeeper told her the whole truth. Aunt Shalu became very angry, apologized to everyone, and then took the girls home. Both sisters felt very guilty for what they had done. They held Aunt Shalu's feet and asked for her forgiveness. Moral: a single lie can lead to embarrassment for elders. The Crane Saint and the Crab. In a forest region, there was a large pond. Because it had plenty of food for all kinds of creatures, many different creatures, birds, fish, turtles, and crabs lived there. Nearby lived a crane who didn't like to work hard at all. His eyesight was weak. Catching fish required effort, which he disliked. So, due to his laziness, he often remained hungry. Standing on one leg, he kept thinking about how he could get food every day without any effort. One day, He thought of a solution and decided to try it out. The crane stood by the pond and started crying. A crab saw him crying and came near to ask, "Uncle, what's the matter? Instead of hunting for fish, why are you standing here crying?" The crane took a deep breath and, with a choked voice, said, "Son, I've done enough hunting of fish. I won't commit this sinful act anymore. My conscience has awakened. That's why I'm not catching the fish that come near me. You can see for yourself." The crab said, "Uncle, if you don't hunt and eat, won't you die?" The crane took another deep breath and said, "It would be better to die, son. Anyway, we all have to die soon. I've learned that a 12-year drought is going to strike soon." The crane told the crab that he learned this from a seer whose predictions never go wrong. The crab went and told everyone that the crane had chosen the path of sacrifice and devotion and that a drought was coming. All the creatures in the pond, fish, turtles, crabs, ducks, and herons, rushed to the crane and said, "Saint Uncle, now you must show us a way to survive. Use your wisdom, you have become very wise." The crane thought for a moment and said that there is a reservoir a few miles away where a mountain stream flows into it. It never dries up. If all the creatures from the pond moved there, they could be saved. The problem was how to get there. The crane saint also solved this problem. "I will take you one by one on my back to the reservoir because now the rest of my life will be spent serving others." All the creatures joyfully shouted, "Hail the crane saint!" Now the crane saint was having the time of his life. Every day he took one creature on his back and, after going a bit further, he would drop it on a rock, kill it, and eat it. Sometimes, in a good mood, the saint would make 2 trips and feast on 2 creatures. The number of animals in the pond began to decrease. The pile of bones near the rock grew, and the saint's health improved. Eating well, he became quite fat. His face became rosy, and his feathers shone with the glow of fat. Seeing him, other creatures would say, "Look at the rewards and blessings the saint is getting for serving others." The crane saint laughed heartily to himself. He thought, "Look at how many foolish creatures there are in the world who believe everything. In a world of such fools, a little cleverness can bring a lot of enjoyment. Without any effort, you can have a grand feast." This went on for many days. One day, the crab said to the crane, "Uncle, you have taken so many animals to the reservoir, but my turn hasn't come yet." The saint said, "Son, today is your turn. Come, sit on my back." The crab happily sat on the crane's back. When they reached near the rock and saw the pile of bones, the crab realized something was wrong. He stammered, "What's this pile of bones? How far is the reservoir, uncle?" The crane saint laughed loudly and said, "Fool, there is no reservoir. I bring each one here and eat them. Today, it's your turn to die." The crab understood everything. He shivered but didn't lose courage. He immediately extended his claws and gripped the wicked crane's neck tightly, squeezing until the crane's life was snuffed out. Then the crab returned to the pond with the crane saint's severed head and told all the creatures the truth about how the wicked crane saint had been deceiving them. Moral: never blindly trust anyone's words. In times of trouble, act with patience and wisdom. The magical rose pudding. Once upon a time, there lived a girl named Radha in a small village. Radha was very sweet and innocent. Her mother made very delicious pudding, kheer, that everyone in the village loved. There was something special about Radha's mother's pudding that set it apart from the rest. One day, Radha's mother fell ill. Now, it became Radha's responsibility to make the pudding. But Radha didn't know how to make it. She tried many times but always failed. Radha became very sad. Radha's mother told her that there was a special ingredient in the pudding that made it magical. That ingredient was a magical rose, which grew under an old tree in the forest near the village. But that rose was very rare and not easy to find. Radha decided to find the magical rose and make the pudding for her mother. She asked her mother for the directions to the rose and set off towards the forest. The forest was very dense and scary, but Radha didn't lose courage. She slowly made her way inside the forest. On the way, she met many animals, but they didn't harm her because Radha was very sweet and innocent. While walking, Radha met an old woman who lived in the forest. That woman was a witch, but she didn't harm Radha. She asked Radha, "Child, why have you come here?" Radha told her the whole story. The witch told her that the magical rose was indeed under the old tree, but to get it, she would have to pass 3 difficult tests. The first test was the test of patience. Radha had to climb a very high hill and sit there without moving for an hour. Radha passed this test easily. She spent an hour there patiently. The second test was the test of courage. Radha had to go down into a deep well and retrieve a stone from there. The well was very dark and scary, but Radha showed courage and went down into the well. She retrieved the stone and came back up. The third test was the test of truth. Radha had to convince a lying man to tell the truth. This test was the hardest, but Radha's honesty and innocence changed the man. He admitted his mistakes and chose the path of truth. After passing all 3 tests, Radha reached the old tree. There she found the magical rose. The rose was very beautiful and shiny. Radha plucked the rose and happily headed back home. Upon reaching home, Radha followed her mother's instructions to make the pudding and added the petals of the magical rose to it. The pudding turned out to be very delicious and fragrant. Radha's mother also recovered, and everyone in the village was happy. Radha's story of hard work and courage spread throughout the village. People started praising Radha. They named her Sorceress Radha. The village was filled with joy, and everyone celebrated together. Radha taught everyone that with patience, courage, and truth, we can overcome any difficulty. Her story inspired everyone, and peace and prosperity came to the village forever. The Arrogant Mouse. Bunty, the mouse, was very clever. He lived in a forest and had built a small home for himself. Near the forest, there was a house where a little boy lived. The boy had a pair of log boots, but they had become too small for him, so he threw them away. Bunty Mouse, "Oh, these boots are wonderful. I can sleep comfortably in them." Bunty dragged one of the boots to his home. He didn't have the strength to bring the other boot, so he cleaned up the one he had and made a cozy bed inside it. He decorated it with flowers. Bunty was very happy. The other animals in the forest would come to see him. When they did, Bunty, full of pride, would sit on top of his boot. One day, Naughty Pigeon came to visit Bunty. "Naughty Pigeon, Bunty, you've decorated your home beautifully, and this boot has added to its charm." Bunty Mouse, "Listen, don't jinx it. I decorated it with great effort. If someone like you gives it the evil eye, it will be ruined." "Naughty Pigeon, I just came to congratulate you, but it seems your pride has reached the 7th heaven." Bunty Mouse, "I don't need anyone's congratulations. I know you're all jealous of me because you have to bear the cold outside while I sleep comfortably inside this boot." Without saying another word, Naughty Pigeon flew back. Now, Bunty would spend his days wandering around eating food, and at night, he'd come back to sleep in his boot. Slowly, he stopped talking to all the animals in the forest. He had no friends left. Time passed by. One night, it started raining heavily in the forest. Unaware of the weather outside, Bunty was sleeping comfortably inside his boot. He didn't notice that the rainwater was rising. The boot had a small hole in the sole, through which water started to fill inside. Soon, the boot was full of water. Bunty woke up, but by then, it was too late. The water kept rising. Bunty felt like he was going to die. He started screaming loudly, but the sound of the rain drowned out his cries. Bunty Mouse could see his death clearly. He started jumping around frantically. He tried to jump out of the boot, but the boot was too tall, and he couldn't get out. Meanwhile, Naughty Pigeon was sitting in his nest with his children. Naughty Pigeon, kids, it sounds like someone is crying out for help. Someone is in trouble. He went outside and saw that the sound was coming from the boot. He immediately understood that Bunty Mouse was stuck inside. Naughty Pigeon wasted no time and flew over to the boot. He perched on top and saw that Bunty was drowning. Bunty Mouse, brother Pigeon, please save me, or I'll die. Naughty Pigeon, why? You said you didn't need anyone except this boot. Bunty Mouse, brother, please save me. I got carried away with pride. Hearing this, Naughty Pigeon grabbed Bunty with his beak and tried to pull him out. But Bunty was too heavy, and Naughty Pigeon couldn't lift him. Naughty Pigeon, brother, wait. I'll go get the other animals. Naughty Pigeon flew into the forest, but all the animals refused to help Bunty. Then, on his way, he met Kalu the crow. Kalu agreed to help. Together, they grabbed Bunty's legs with their beaks and flew him to a house on top. Bunty regretted his actions deeply. The next day, he dragged the boot and turned it upside down, letting all the water out. After that, he dragged the boot to the river and threw it in. Seeing this, Naughty Pigeon and Kalu the crow were very happy. Bunty then went to all the animals and apologized to everyone. Little Veer and the Story of the Jungle. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a young boy named Veer. Veer was always ready to help others, and everyone in the village liked him very much. Veer's parents were poor, but they had taught him that true wealth lies in the goodness of the heart. One day, strange things started happening in the forest near Veer's village. People began to say that strange noises were coming from the jungle, and several animals had disappeared. Hearing this, Veer became very worried and decided that he would go into the forest to find out the truth. Veer took his small stick and some food and set out towards the jungle. As soon as he entered the jungle, Veer saw lush green trees and fragrant flowers all around. But as he moved forward, he heard a strange noise. He saw a small rabbit hiding behind a tree, trembling with fear. Veer called out to the rabbit lovingly, "Don't be afraid, I will help you." The rabbit told Veer that a big and dangerous animal had entered the forest, which scared the forest animals every night and even ate some of them. Veer comforted the rabbit and promised to find that animal and drive it away. As Veer moved further, he met more animals, such as an old tortoise, a clever fox, and a wise owl. All these animals were afraid of the dangerous animal, but Veer explained to them that if they all worked together, they could defeat that animal. The animals listened to Veer and together they made a plan. Night had fallen, and Veer, along with the animals, began their preparations according to the plan. When the animal came into the jungle, Veer and his friends surrounded it. But the animal was very powerful, and despite their efforts, it escaped. Veer felt a little sad, but he did not give up and encouraged the animals. The next day, Veer and his friends held another meeting. This time, the wise owl suggested that they should find out the animal's weakness. The owl said he would fly at night and discover the animal's lair. Everyone agreed, and the owl followed the animal at night. The wise owl saw that the animal was very tired when it reached its lair and soon fell asleep. The owl noticed that the animal was afraid of bright light. The owl shared this information with Veer. Veer thought that if they shone a bright light on the animal, it would get scared and run away. The next night, Veer and his friends set a trap on the edge of the jungle and arranged for bright lights. As soon as the animal got caught in the trap, Veer and his friends shone the bright light on it. The animal roared loudly and fled from the jungle. All the animals rejoiced and started cheering for Veer. Veer bid farewell to his new friends and returned to the village. The villagers were very happy to hear about Veer's bravery and made him the hero of the village. Veer taught them that true bravery means removing fear from the heart and helping others. A few days later, Veer heard that strange things were happening in another village as well. He prepared for his journey once again, and this time he decided to take his new friends with him. Veer now believed that where there is unity and courage, no difficulty can defeat them.